welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the master of hopheads. Today's beer is going to be another Danish beer, another heavy Danish beer, just a heavy beer. It's going to be from one of my favorite Danish breweries, fancy breweries, Beer Here. It is their Beer Here Erebus, or Erebus. It's one of the first beer the brewery brewed, or Christian Skovdal Andersen brewed, along with their Beelzebub, but I do not get that one anymore. Like, I went to the store and they usually have a pretty big supply, and all was just gone except this one. And it's like, it's the first beer the brewery brewed, and they're best before January next year, so it's like, now is probably the time to get it. Yeah, it's an old ale this year. The Erebus says here in a dark and full-bodied old ale brewed with cold water extract of chocolate malt and homemade caramel. It says here, don't waste your thirst, which is sort of a slogan they have. It's brewed with malt, hops, water, caramelized sugar, and yeast. And it's got an IBU of 50 and an ABV, or alcohol content, of 8%. I've also got some info from the website, since it's got a lot more info than that. That was not much at all. It says here, in Greek mythology, Erebus is the personification of darkness. The name inspired me to try and brew a dark beer according to an unconventional method. Therefore, Erebus is brewed exclusively with pale malts, and then color and flavor is added with a 24-hour cold water extraction of chocolate malt and a lot of home-cooked candied sugar. The result is a very dark brown beer with lots of caramel and chocolate flavor, but without the toasted and roasted nuances often associated with dark beer. Optimally, Erebus should be enjoyed at 14 to 18 degrees Celsius in a snifter in front of a blazing fireplace. But a slightly scratched old summerhouse glass with a Lalandia motif and episode of The Office on an old DVD player will do. Erebus is brewed in a small quantity of approximately 1,000 bottles. Now, what Lalandia is, you're probably thinking, what the heck is Lalandia? Lalandia is a small, amusement park, a place you can go camping in Denmark. And it's sort of, I think it's a personal story of him drinking this beer out of the Lalandia glass. But let's crack this old ale open. 8%, a lot of carbonation still. And that smells really, really malty. Oh my god, but old ales, it differs a lot from beer to beer. They're usually very malty and big and heavy. A strange thing though, the Old Man Winter from Southern Tier was really hoppy. That was like an unconventional old ale, but I'm not sure if this is going to be as well. It's probably going to be... Oh, it's quite dark. Not as dark as I expected though. Okay, it's quite dark. Yeah, look at that. That's a big head for a beer that old. I think it's from around 2000 something. I can't really remember. I do not remember how old the brewery is, but a very dark color. It's like an extremely dark red, like a maroon red with a big eyes. It's almost like a dark brown, but yeah, it is a dark brown if you don't hold it up to the light. And a big 2.5 finger frothy beige khaki head. That looks quite creamy actually. Wow, I can just smell the beer from here. It smells very, very malty. Abundance of malt and dark fruit. Oh my god, really a lot of dry dark fruit. Definitely the caramel as well. It's so malty in the aroma. Don't get much chocolate. Wow, look at that head. That's just sticking around. Do get some of the caramel and such, definitely. It smells really nice. It smells nice and complex. Maybe also slightly grainy. Wow, look at that head. That's just going nowhere. That's awesome. Sort of like a Duvel head, actually. Let's dig in and give this beer a taste. Wow, that is so caramelly. There's a lot of caramel in here. Actually, I'm actually having this at around 14 degrees Celsius. I didn't put it in the fridge at all. I just took it down from the beer cellar, so it's warm. But wow, this is pretty good. Body is nice and creamy. Not like oily and sticky, but nice and creamy, with a body's full with a slightly creamy mouthfeel, or not slightly creamy mouthfeel. The head is just very creamy. Oh my god, there's so much caramel in here. A lot of caramel and malts. The chocolate is there as well, but not as prominent as the caramel, and a decent amount of dark fruits. They were more dried smelling in the aroma, but it's more like a mix of just like regular plum and raisins, sort of like that, or just grapes and raisins. Like both the dried version and the non-dried version. It's so strange, actually, yeah, because from a beer that tastes of chocolate, you would expect there was some kind of roasted malt, but there isn't at all. It really tastes like roasted malt, or not chocolate, that you would get using chocolate malts. But he did, but he just used it, used a cold water extraction of the chocolate malts. It's quite an interesting beer, actually. Quite an interesting old ale. Not as your usual English old ales. Very malty, a lot of like sweet malts as well, breadiness. This is pretty good, actually. Though it's very experimental, it's not the best old ale I've had. The best old ale I've had is Trafalgar 200 from the George Gales Brewery, and you can't get that beer anymore, which is very sad. But you can still get that last drop, just brewed by Fuller's, and I reviewed the original Gales version not too long ago, so check that out. But check out the Fuller's version. It's basically the same. That's a really good old ale, but this is a solid old ale as well. Really nice flavor of chocolate. It's really nice that you get that flavor without them even using or without the beer even having the usual roasted malt flavor. Rating wise, it's getting an 87. It's a really nice beer, especially for one of the first beers the brewery has brewed. It's really, really good, and you can also see that on the label. The label is so boring, but whatever. That's it for this. By the way, I believe this beer is brewed at Herslev Bryghus here in Denmark. But that's it for this beer review, guys. I'm pretty sure you can't get this at all. I still get a few bottles, but after 2011, that's probably going to be it of this beer. So it's a one-time brew, but it's really good. Check out all the other beer reviews, guys. Comment, subscribe, thumbs up on this video, and all that stuff I usually say. And I'm gonna say cheers, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next beer review.